Quick update on the Nivico. So I have attached some legs that I picked up off of Amazon. I may move the position of the legs a little bit further to the sides. I don't know yet. Yeah, so I don't know. So those may be adjusted in. I put long legs on it because this is such a short console to begin with. I think it's like 27 inches or something. And it's just, I'm a short guy and this is, I don't know, it would just sit way too close to the floor for me. So I put 12-inch legs on it. Pretty sturdy. The bottom of this is all particle board. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit of, you know, flex to it, I guess, plus with the long legs. But, you know, as long as you're not dragging it around on carpet with the legs, they should stay attached. I did a little bit more work on it. So I have, well, number one, I did restore a finish. Right, on the tops and the sides. I still have to do the front, but it's done a pretty decent job covering the scratches that are on it without refinishing it, of course. I mean, that's about as good as it's going to get. I did finish the little shelf in here. So there's the JBL. I still haven't really cleaned the JBL up yet. I just wanted to fit it in there. So built a plywood platform, covered it with black felt. I did leave the two screws that hold the feet underneath. I screwed those through the felt. It's kind of homely, but I want to be able to remove the feet because the opening to slide that plywood up in there is about that tall. So just tall enough for the plywood, and otherwise you'd have to remove the whole back panel to fit that in there. So I wanted to kind of leave that shelf semi-permanent, right? It's not really attached. It's kind of attached, but not attached, right? So anyway, I've got that installed. I did notice that the stereo light was out. Got some dust in here because I've been doing some other projects. So the stereo light was out. Let me turn this on. And so you see now the stereo light is turned on. All right, it goes in and out. There it goes. It's kind of dim. Right, and the weird thing was there was no cover on that. It was just an incandescent bulb. So what I did is I took a little orange light condom, is what it's referred to as, from a Yamaha lamp kit that I had. So I put that little orange condom on there to kind of contrast with the green. I think it looks good. I could have put a green one on it, but that's too much green, right? Need to have some kind of contrasting color. I'm still working on the turntable on a kind of a permanent solution for that. In fact, let me shoot over to the bench and kind of show you what I'm working on. I assembled the adapter. It's not a finished product. I'm going to be working on a couple of different prototypes, I guess. When I come up with something that's kind of the final version, I'll show you. But I wanted to test it out, see if it works. I'm gonna flip this on. It's on phono. Let me just kind of show you the back end here. So I've got the adapter cable, that gray cable right there, attached to this Audio-Technica turntable. I'll hit start and give it some volume. I don't hear any hum, so that's good. And I hear noise. All right, so that worked. Awesome. So I will put the finishing touches on this adapter, whatever it's going to look like. And I still don't have a good solution for the turntable yet, but at least with the adapter, someone could find a turntable small enough to go in there. I do have a dual that I don't think will fit in there. It's a 12-19. I have to see. I know the holes aren't going to align, but and that one doesn't work anyway. I don't even know if that dual is worth saving, but it would have to be almost something like that, something just kind of a small idler drive table, and I hate those, but that may be the only solution to go in here. So anyway, I wanted to shoot this quick update while I'm figuring all those things out and kind of show you the current state of the Nivico. So stay tuned for more updates on the horizon as I figure some of this stuff out. So here is what I'm working on now for the Nivico turntable solution. So I haven't given up on this. I just haven't taken the motor apart to see if maybe it needs some additional service. It's all dusty because it's been sitting in here while I've been working on some other projects. But here's the adapter, right? And basically it's really just the ends of RCA cables that are run through this plastic piece. And you've got the right channel, the ground, and the left channel. So what I'm going to do as kind of initially as a proof of concept, I guess if you want to look at it that way. And I've tried this once, but I made a mistake on the size of the holes here. I took some MDF that I used for my Wharfdale speaker project, and I mapped out right where the posts would be kind of centered on this little piece of plastic. Right. The error that I made was I made the posts or the holes for the posts large enough to slide them through from the back, but I need to make them smaller and slide them through from the front. So I can kind of lock them and then epoxy them into position. With the wide holes like this, the epoxy doesn't hold, especially when I go to solder the wires on it. So what I have to do is I have to clean up. I have some epoxy resin on here. I need to kind of get my Dremel and clean the metal off on these 3 posts, and then I'm going to cut another piece, drill in smaller holes. I'll have to epoxy them into position. I'm going to solder it first, then epoxy it, and then I have some adapters here, right? And so you can take another turntable that fits. Now it's a really small cabinet. I have a little Audio Technica, one of the kind of modern kind of starter turntables. It's too big to go in there. We may be stuck with this turntable, which would really suck. But anyway, I just want to see if this works. So that way, if I can get this a little bit closer on the consistency of the speed, we can at least give whoever purchases this adapter, and if they can find a turntable small enough, they can just drop it in there, right? Plug it in, and it'll work. So if this does work, I'll probably just buy some RCA cables with female ends on them. I just don't have any right now, and I don't want to even spend the $10 to get something at this point in time. So, and I have tons of these old RCA cables, so I just thought I would take this one apart. So anyway, the next part of this video, you'll see me testing out this adapter once I get it made, and seeing if it works. And I may get into the motor on this. I don't know. It's just not a good turntable. The platter's super light. There's a lot of rumble in it. I don't know that I can eliminate the sound. So yeah, I just don't know. I don't know about that. So anyway, whatever I decide, it'll change between now and the time I shoot the next video. So whatever the next part is kind of what I have decided up to this point. I decided to excuse me, pull the motor apart and work on it. This one was actually pretty easy to take apart and get to everything. So what I did, and I did this off camera because I just kind of started going, but I pulled the motor out, cleaned everything with contact cleaner, and lubed everything, right? Oil everywhere. And right now what I'm doing is I am reassembling the motor. So I can pop it back in and give it a spin. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you what that looked like. I know I didn't really do much, but these 2 screws, nuts and bolts, hold the motor in place. Oh, one thing I did, also find is that the motor mounts are absolute mush. They're gross. They're just disgusting. So I need to find a solution for the motor mounts. I don't quite know what I'm going to use for them at this point, but I will hopefully find something somewhere that I can use. So anyway, once I get this back in and spin it up, we'll see if this improved anything. Motor's been cleaned. I did find a kind of a solution for the motor mounts. I had this grippy material, kind of you put it underneath chairs, furniture. It's foamy, grippy stuff. So I put a couple of pieces together at roughly the same height as the original material, and I'm using those for motor mounts to hopefully cut down on some of that rumble that we were hearing earlier. So this is ready to go in. I'm going to give it a function check, so let's see what it's doing. Alright, so I wanted to end this section of the video with kind of where we are now. So it's running fast, and I've adjusted everything I can adjust to slow the speed down, but it's just running at like 33.9. But the wow and flutter is down to around 0.5%, which is no longer noticeable. And honestly, the speed, since it's running a little fast, the speed is kind of sort of noticeable, but not horrible. So I'm going to let it run for a little bit, see if it kind of settles down, slows down. I may try a couple of things to slow it down, but I think for right now, I'm going to call the Nivico, I think, done for now. I'm going to say that it's done for now. The turntable works. I will finish creating this adapter. Right, I just have to kind of clean that up, make a nicer version of that. Yeah. So the Nivico, I think, is finished for now. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but you may see it next in a room in my house with some other speakers attached to it externally to see what it sounds like. So, all right, the Nivico turntable's back in. I got the wow and flutter down to about 0.5%. It's at 0.68, which is still high, but for this, you're probably not going to get much better than that. We were at like 2.25, so now we're down to 0.68. It's running just a little bit fast. It's at like at 33.9. I'm hoping it settles in a little bit. I've adjusted the motor position and the idler position in relationship to that as much as I can, but it's not slowing it down. So, and it's barely noticeable. It's like 33.9. So, but you know, with this, I don't know that we're going to get any better at this point in time with the turntable. Again, you know, this is such a small compartment that there's just not a lot of room to put a substitute in here. So I think I'm going to call the Nivico, other than a couple of small cosmetic things that I need to do to it. I'm going to call it done for now. The next time I shoot a video of this, what I may do, and I always have an excuse to keep these things around longer than I should. I may move this into my office, and I have some Jensen Model 5s that would look really, really good with this as external speakers. I may hook those up and just kind of give it a whirl with some external speakers and see what it really sounds like. So anyway, if I have any updates to this or any other changes to the Nivico, I will post them as another part in the series. But for right now, I think I'm going to call this Nivico rehabbed, not restored, right? Because this is not at all the original condition, but it is rehabbed and it's usable now. So stay tuned for more projects. This one was kind of fun. My Wharfdale speaker project was challenging but fun. So I'm going to try to tackle more of these interesting repairs and post them to the channel. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and I will see you next time.